What's up?
Did I-
Scobell. It's Scobell, yeah.
Ah.
I mean, yeah. My favorite part of, obviously, it's fun doing interviews and stuff and coming on podcasts. Well, it's my first time on a podcast, which is really fun so far. But I would say, my favorite part of the job is the acting part. And so, yeah, I would say so.
Would you
Prepare for the audition? Well, I reread the books, obviously, but that was, so I auditioned for the first time while I was filming the Adam Project. So I was I think freshly turned 12, same age as the books, and I was super excited. I was reading Magnus Chase at that time, so which is another Rick Riordan book, which is awesome. And then I didn't hear from them for months after that until the next November of that year, and I thought I was too old at that point, but I got another call back at that point, and I did a couple more auditions, and they told me I got it, which was awesome. But the whole time I was terrified that I was gonna be too old to film it because he's in 6th grade. He's supposed to be 12, and I was turning 14 while we were filming it. So yeah, it was. I've only done one in-person audition, which is crazy. I think I was very lucky that a lot of it switched to self-tapes because I live in Erie, Pennsylvania, which there's not a lot of film industry out there. So I would have to come out to LA a lot, and I don't know, I like Erie. I go to public school, and I like going to school sometimes. So I didn't really want to move, and so it was nice to get to just crank out these self-tapes and not have to go in person. So I really don't really know what an in-person audition is like. I've done one, and it was I think it was my first audition I did in person. It was in New York City, and it was for a Nickelodeon show that I don't think has come out. So that's weird. Yeah. Well, my first Percy Jackson self-tape I did in the trailer during filming the Adam Project, and I did that with my dad or somebody on set. I think it was my dad. But my second one, my callback, it was a scene in the bus that they deleted. I don't think we ever ended up filming it. But it was a scene where I'm playing Mythomagic, which is D&D, but Percy Jackson version on the bus with Grover. And Nancy Bobofet comes and steals my dice, and then Miss Dodds yells at me. And I had my sister be Nancy Bobofet, and I had my little brother be my teacher, Mrs. Dodds. I have no idea how I didn't I think it took at least 20 takes to not laugh at him because he got really into his character. He put on high heels. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we moved around a bit. My sister was born in Hawaii, and then shortly after that, my family moved to Virginia, and I was born there. And then we went from there to Coronado, and then to Colorado, and now we're in Erie. I think so. It's it's a very small town, and I've known everyone there since I was little because my grandparents live there. I used to go out there all the time. And so, it's obviously a little weird, but I think it's helped me, being with everyone that I know for so long, because, I don't know, I don't have to, meet anyone. They're all my friends already, and so I didn't have to meet anyone new, and I don't know, yeah. It's a different feeling here, It's I don't know, I'm nervous here because I feel like everywhere I look, there's a celebrity. I don't know, I this morning, in the hotel that we're staying at, I walked out of eating breakfast and there's just a celebrity sitting on the couch. It was the guy that does all the impressions and stuff, Matt. Crazy. No, I literally just met him less than an hour ago.
He posted
Crazy.
Hotel lobby.
I know. That's so weird. He was on the show a week ago?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a different place here, Yeah. I go to, actually I probably shouldn't say that.
No.
A little bit. I love when people come up to me. I love when people come up and talk or ask for a picture. That's awesome. I love that. I love talking to people about it. It's a cool thing. But it's just a little weird when people just watch you from afar and that they're watching you. It's just it's so much nicer to talk to someone about it, So yeah. Exactly. I don't think we're all humans, right? We're all the same species. I'm not any different from nobody's any different from anyone else,
Totally.
It's just different circumstances, I guess. But I don't know. I really like talking to people about it though. It's only been a couple times that like people have just like I've seen people just like looking, but most of the time like people have come up to me, which is really nice. It's like, especially when it's like a book fan of like Percy Jackson, because I'm a huge fan of the books too, and I love talking about them. And when like one comes up to me, I can just sit there and talk to them for hours about it. It's fun, you know. I would say yeah. That's a really good question. I would say that there's like the most important thing to me is that every character kind of feels like their character, because you can like tell when it's just not the same person, and that's what's nice about having Rick Riordan there every day. He's like, and you know, helping writing the scripts and stuff, is that like you know that these are the characters, like it's written the same way they are in the books, and so yeah, I think that's the most important part to me, just that everyone feels as they should, you know. A week filming is like well, in the morning you get like the sides, and you get them like the night before too. But you kind of know what you're gonna be filming, like a month in advance. They have it like all like lined up and scheduled for like the weather and stuff. And yeah, we go back and forth. I mean, for the most part, we're kind of moving like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we go back and forth between like we film in blocks. So like the first block was directed by James Bobin, which was episode 1 and 2. Second block was Anders, and that was 3 and 4, and then Jet, and then 7 and 8 were Anders and Jet again. But
Oh, very cool.
so we just kind of go back and forth between those 2 episodes while filming.
And
It's weird to think about, like we filmed that for so long. Like we started pre-production May 1st, and so we went out to Vancouver, and we left Vancouver February 10th or something like that. It was like 10 months, which is like crazy to think about that we were there for so long. And it's weird to like go over and watch all these episodes now. Like I watch it with my family every week, which is a little weird. Yeah. And like they're the only people that are going to be like really honest to me if it's good or not. And so far there hasn't been a bad episode, and that's really good. But it's just weird to like see how fast they go by and how long we film that. It's just a weird thing, you know? It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like deja vu when you're watching it, because you kind of, it's so long ago and I don't remember too much from filming. Like, again, we filmed for so long, it's just, it all kind of blends together. But when you're watching it, you can kind of like, oh, I kind of remember filming that, but I don't remember it, like this scene being that short or that scene being this long. And they'll like randomly add stuff or like make a scene longer or shorter. It's like, it's a completely different scene when like the editors get a hold of it, which is so like, it's strange to see that, you know? I did. So for the longest time, I wanted to be an Avenger. And I didn't realize that they were actors until like an alarmingly old age. I was like 11, or no, I was like 10, which is like really weird. But I figured out that they were actors, and I decided that I wanted to do that. And so I went out to this acting camp, and I tried it out. And after that, I got a manager from that. And then that was in January. And then March like 16th or 17th of that year, COVID hit. And from like that, like March to August, I did like maybe 8 or 9 auditions a week. I was just like cranking them out as they came in. And I mean, that's all we could do. We were inside all day. And eventually the Adam Project came about. And then I was like kind of preparing for that my whole life, because I think I've been watching Deadpool 2. I can't even count how many times I've watched it. Like too many times. And so by the time that came around, I was like extremely prepared for it. So yeah. I mean, if we were here for like a couple hours, I could probably go over the whole movie, the lines. What I've realized like works the best for me is like keeping it in your subconscious, because if it's in like the front of your mind, that's all you're thinking about is your next line that you're gonna say, like when you're doing a scene. But like you can tell when someone's scared that they're gonna miss their next line, and I got better at this like throughout filming. It's like a muscle. You just got to keep working it. But I realized that I learn them a lot better if you just kind of say them to yourself while doing something else, like doing the dishes or like a chore or something, or you're taking a walk. Just not really focusing on them, so that by the time you film them, it's just like in your head and you know what you're gonna say subconsciously. You know. So I actually had a lot of help memorizing lines and like kind of figuring out what we wanted the scene to look like beforehand, because we had this great acting coach, Andrew McElroy, and I don't know what we would do without him. I feel like I progressed so much like during shooting because he was there, and like every day during like school hours, because you have to get a certain amount of school every day, he would just like go over all of our lines with us and kind of like form the scene, you know? Yeah, it's weird. I keep seeing like, I get so many edits of Percy Jackson on my TikTok, and I really want to save them because I love Percy Jackson. And so it's like, it's awesome to see the edits because I don't really think of like, when I watch it, I don't really think of me in it. But then I'm like, this is really weird. I'm saving an edit of my own. Like this is my face. I don't know. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's a weird feeling. It's a huge responsibility, but thank God that like everyone's so supportive about it. Just like all of us, everyone in the cast. Like I don't like try to dig too deep and find all like the bad reviews and stuff, but I haven't seen any. Like all the reviews that have come up, it's been very good, and that's like that feels very good to me and like all of my castmates, like Leah and Aryan. It feels great, but at first we were all definitely a little bit nervous, like scrambling through the books like as fast as we could, again, just to get it all in our minds as many times as possible. And yeah, it's the weirdest part to me is that this is like some people's introduction to Percy Jackson.
Yeah, ever.
Which is such a weird thought, you know? So we filmed all those underwater scenes in the last 2 days, and we couldn't figure out how we were supposed to like do that. I think while we were filming, I kind of learned to just like let the water in to the back of my throat, which sounds really gross, but it's the only way I could like, I just move my mouth the way I would like when I'm talking. And for like one of the scenes, I had to like be tied down by something. My foot was stuck, so I couldn't come up for air. That's the scene where I learned how to breathe underwater, and I couldn't go back up because I had to get my foot stuck. So the whole time I was like switching between like breathing through a regulator and then taking it off and doing the scene and then going like this and getting it back. So yeah, long time. Because they have so many people underwater too. They have like 8 safety people at all times watching all of us. Yeah, it was like maybe like a 13-foot tank, and they had all these like scaffoldings underwater. And in between takes, I would just like walk around at the bottom of the pool, and there'd be like a safety person with a regulator on them. So I just sit there and chill underwater for like 2 hours, breathing out of a regulator, which is like the coolest feeling ever. Yeah, it was.
That's crazy.
Mean, I think like the maximum amount of time I stayed underwater without coming up for like real air was like maybe an hour, or like
Wow.
like 45 minutes to an hour, or at least it felt like that. It is, yeah, it is. I wish I will say like I wish we did that earlier on, because it kind of like, I don't know, it was weird to have that the last 2 days, because then I was like, now I know what he really went through, if that makes any sense.
Totally.
And yeah, I ordered like pizza every day. I had a whole one in between every take, which I almost made me want to throw up. I drank so much like pool water in between like those days. I don't know how I didn't like throw up everywhere. But yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that we're pretty similar similar people. I would say that I have a pretty like similar sense of humor to Percy, which is kind of like the most important part of his character, I think. So I don't really know. It's kind of like a mix. While we're filming, like on set, I don't know, because it depends what kind of scene you're filming. You know what I mean? If it's like a really like emotional scene, like the Tunnel of Love, I'll kind of just want to be myself more. And I don't know. You feel rude, like kind of not talking to anybody, but you kind of just have to do that to like stay in your zone. And like that whole day, I did so many push-ups just to like get like my mind off of it, because it's such a hard thing to like stay in, like that like depressed zone, that you keep like trying to pull yourself out of it and like make jokes and be happy, but then that like kind of pulls you out of the scene. So the whole time I just kind of tried to stay depressed, if that makes any sense. I do. Her name is Cassandra. Yeah, basically at that time. It's weird because we filmed for so long that at the beginning, Cassandra, she was like a little bit taller than me, or like maybe the same height, but like while filming it got slowly less and less believable because I grew like maybe 4 or 5 inches, or like 4 inches while filming, like 3 or 4 inches, I don't know. But yeah, definitely. I will say I did a good portion of my own stunts, but most of the time, like, you only have a certain amount of hours you can work as like someone under 18. Exactly. So when I time out, I can't do anything on set. I have to go home. And so that's when like she would mainly take over, or if it was something that I would like die on. But yeah, that's also a good question. I haven't really thought about it. I mean, I have, but like only very recently, because it's just like the strike and everything like set us back a lot, and I don't think we're gonna be filming season 2 for a little bit. And before, like after filming, I was like positive that we'd be filming season 2 within the next couple of months. And I don't know, it just never happened. It still hasn't happened. And I keep thinking about what kind of films, or what do I do next, you know? For me, I think just like how much fun would it be? I don't know, because I feel like I want to try something that's like a little bit like, I would say Percy's very challenging. Not like, I mean, acting wise, yes, there's a lot of like some emotional beats in there, but I would say the most challenging part of acting in Percy was the fact that like it's such a unrealistic like thing to happen in real life, to be chased by a 3-headed dog that's like 30 feet tall, or exactly a bull in underwear, or like a girl that can turn you into stone by looking at you. So it's just, I would say the hardest part is like trying to figure out what that feels like, you know? Like how do I feel right now? How do I feel about this? You know what I mean? It's weird. I do, yeah. Oh, that's a difficult question, because there's so many different like ways that it could go. I feel like, because there's the first 5 books, which I think is like the base. We have to do all those. I mean, again, I don't know if they're gonna do any of them, but I really hope so. But like, I'm pretty sure they're working on season 2 right now. They don't tell me anything. They're afraid I'm gonna spoil it. But I get everything I can out of them. But after those first 5, there's like so much more. Like, Heroes of Olympus is a lot like darker, I would say, which is the second Percy Jackson series. And instead of it just being Percy Jackson's point of view, it's everyone's point of view that's in it. Like the main 7, I guess, like Jason, Leo, Piper, Hazel, Annabeth, Percy, it's everyone. And it's a lot darker than this, so I'm a little bit, I don't know if they're gonna do it, because it's just such a like shift, you know? Yeah, that's like, I would say the hardest part about like all of this is that like I was gonna watch this whether or not I got the part, and I got it. So it's awesome, but it's just like sometimes it's hard to watch, because I'm like, I don't know. It's difficult, you know? Definitely. I've never met someone that doesn't do that, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone does that. And I mean, like, you're your own worst critic, you know? And so, yeah. And also I got my siblings, which are like my 2 other worst critics. So that's nice to have. But yeah. I auditioned for, honestly, like so far, I think I've gotten everything that I've like really wanted, which is like insane to think about. Like I'm very lucky, but I did a lot of auditions for like horror movies and stuff, which I feel like would have been interesting to shoot, but not really. I feel like I've gotten everything I've really wanted so far.
Sick.
I'm very lucky. Yeah. That was probably like the best first production ever. I mean, like Percy Jackson's also up there, but it wasn't my first. But it was just like, I don't know. I keep thinking about it. Like I was so lucky to have all those like amazing people to like teach me everything that I know now. And I don't know. It was everyone like on that set, everyone like the grips, every single like department kept telling me like this is like the best first production you could ever have. And Ryan's like the coolest guy ever. Like he's exactly how you think he'd be, you know? He's like super funny, super nice, he's super chill. He's awesome. I did it the first time I thought I wasn't gonna get it at first because I did my first audition and I was like, all right, I think that was all right. They gave me a call back with the casting director. And so I was on Zoom with her and she asked me if I've seen any Ryan Reynolds movies. So I was like, okay, get ready. The whole monologue. And I couldn't really tell if she was like laughing or not, or if she was like terrified of me. And so I thought that was over. That was it. I didn't get it. And then I got the call back for Sean and Ryan, which I was still like, maybe she just pretended it didn't happen or something, you know what I mean? And then apparently they liked it. And then when we were filming a scene with Zoe Saldana in like the back of this car, Ryan like pulled up his phone. He's like, "Hey, can you do that Deadpool monologue you did?" And then I did it. And then yeah, that's what got me into all this. Yeah, for having me. Thank you guys for having me. Yeah,
Literally.